Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back. So the number reduced now. It's good. It's good for me. Allow me to sit. It's okay, yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for having me here today. So my name is Ainolnaim Azizol. You can call me Ainol, and I'm from Malaysia. So I'm based in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm teaching at Universiti Teknologi Mara, Faculty of Music. So basically, I teach music composition, sound design, doing electronic music as well, and I just finished my PhD like 2 years ago. My study is in Soundscape, so Soundscape composition, electroacoustic music, in Bristol. Okay, so today I'm going to present about Soundscape. So how many of you know what is Soundscape or heard the term Soundscape before? Any of you? 1, 2, any? 3? Okay. So I wonder, what is Soundscape? Could you tell me what it is?
Oh, okay. It's a way of capturing the sound of your surroundings. That's how I would using devices and things. So my experience, because I studied music in Birmingham, and for the computer composition, we would do things involving kind of like creating the settings and like setting up the speakers all around the area. So I would consider Soundscape a kind of a recreation or reflection of sounds, but interpreted in the composer's view. I don't know if that's kind of...
I think you already take over my presentation, so I think I can pack my stuff and go back. No, just joking. So yeah, how about you, sir? Can you tell us about what do you think about Soundscape? How do you
Well, that was good presentation, but isn't it also to maybe create a sound that will illustrate the place without capturing it from real life also? To abstract, to build a landscape, but soundscape, avoid by, I don't know, manipulating sound, something like that.
Right, over there. That's good. That's a good keywords that that just now mentioned, landscape. So we're gonna talk about it later on. Who's just now? You, right? Yes.
So the question is, what is landscape, right? I don't know, soundscape. Sorry. So soundscape for me is like it's like something that can tell what is that place and how the feeling, atmosphere, and like it's like some sense of of you see, but now it's not what you see, but you hear. You hear like a train, you hear like subway, you hear some particular bird, or like you hear some sounds of very particular animal that doesn't exist in other places, and also sounds of like weather, like snow, wind, or sand. Yeah, for me it's like that, or something that people do in a certain area.
So I try not to make it boring as much as possible, because most of you already know what it sounds like actually. Okay. Right. So we often think of culture as something we see, right? And we appreciate more visual rather than listening sound. Okay. But what if we begin instead of by listening and question things through what we hear rather than what we see, observe? Okay. So so when I'm started with music, classical training, right? And then at certain point I get bored with this, playing, doing similar things and so on. And when I was like, there's a program that I attend during my master's in Darmstadt, where I went for summer course there. I had the opportunity to participate a class with Hildegard Westerkamp, who is a sound artist based in Canada, and she introduced Soundwalk, and we did Soundwalk, and at that it opens different perspective of how I react to the sonic environment, the listening. Okay, so and I start to question what is music. So and I can conclude that music is an organized sound, and it's not only sound but silent. Okay, so our world is full of music. Actually, if you pay attention to it, it becomes music, part of it, the process. So that's where the soundscape derive from the word landscape. So it derived from that. It's root from that. So let's go in details. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what is soundscape? So when we speak of soundscape, we are not merely referring to background noise, okay, or a random collection of sound. Rather, the terms describe the entire acoustic environment, like the gentleman described just now, okay, as it's perceived, experienced, and interpreted by his seminal book, The Tuning of the World, right? So in this groundbreaking work, Shafai proposed a comprehensive framework for understanding sound, not only as a physical phenomenon, but as an ecological, cultural, and symbolic medium that shapes our relationship with the world around us. So when I read this book by Shafai, there's an ambiguity how we define soundscape. Because if you're an acoustic ecologist, you're going to look at the science part. But if you're a sound artist, you're going to look at the artistic part. So this is the hard part. So for me, sound is a natural thing. It's neutral. It's like it's a raw source. But how you deal with it, how you look at it, how you treat it, how you intervene it. Okay? So I'm not an acoustic ecologist, so I'm more into the artistic side part. Okay, but somehow I need to understand the science behind it. Okay? Right. So to me, sound or sonic, scientific terms, it's like a bridge of science knowledge, okay, to understand what is going on with the environment, okay, and what's going on with our world, right? So, but before we go further, let's take a step back and examine where the idea of the soundscape comes from. Okay, next slide. Okay, the term soundscape is rooted from the word landscape. And the two share more than just a suffix. Both describe environments that are composed, inhabited, and interpreted. Yet while sound landscape is seen, mapped, and interpreted through visual perception, a soundscape is heard, felt, and navigated through the act of listening. It offers us a way of engaging with our environment that is not just sensory, but deeply cultural and emotional. Through the ears, we encounter rhythms, texture, and meanings, layers of experience that often remain invisible to the eye. Now, so let's now take a closer look at the conceptual parallels between landscape and soundscape, and how this comparison deepens our understanding of place, presence, and perception. Right, so Shafai proposed that all soundscape consists of 3 layers, okay? Similar like visual, drawings, photography, landscape. You have background, foreground, middle ground. So in soundscape, there are 3 components. You have geophony, which is a sound that is made or produced by geological phenomena. For example, like the rain, the wind sound, the rustling winds, and so on. Okay, and the second component is biophony. So biophony is sound that is made by non-intelligent beings, that is not cultured, doesn't have that cultured background or intelligent thinking like us human being, but it's not part of this category, biophony. All right, so the biophony is sound from like animals, like bats, insects, cockroaches, and so on. Okay, and the last one is anthrophony. So anthrophony is sound that is made by human, intelligent beings, machine, computers, our spoken words, and so on. Okay, music, including music. But the idea of soundscape draws its power from its close conceptual relationship to a landscape. Both are terrain, space we inhabit, navigate, and make meaning from. While a landscape is composed of visual features, trees, buildings, rivers, soundscape is made of auditory textures, voice, rhythms, resonance, and silence. Okay? So when I go into this room, I just silence myself, and I like to enjoy listening to this room first. So, and I ask myself, what did I hear? Right? And then how I listen this, and what does it mean? Okay? So sometimes when I went to a different place, I like to find the musical elements of the environment that I'm into. And sometimes this sound environment, I get inspired writing music. Yeah, like like sometimes you can hear the aircon sound. There's a rhythm. There's a pitch, certain frequency. You can hear it, and sometimes I like to do some kind of like ear training. I take this opportunity to do ear training. I try to find what kind of pitch is that, what kind of pitch is that, and then what is the rhythm of this clicking sound of this light, and so on. Okay, right. Okay, next slide. So Bernie Krause, a pioneer in ecoacoustic, one of the big names in soundscape. You have Hildegard Westerkamp, you have Bernie Krause, and you have Shaven Murray. And once remarked, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a sound is worth 1,000 pictures. Okay, this reminds me that sound is dance with meaning, not merely in what we hear, but in how we feel, remember, and inhabit place. So, if we've been trained to read the visible patterns of culture, the buildings, artifacts, gestures, I encourage every one of you now to learn how to listen, because the soundscapes offer a different way of knowing. This is where acoustemology comes in later on. That is intimate, immersive, and often overlooked. Okay. Okay. Next slide. Right. So, yeah. Let's do this. Okay. So, could you describe me the sound that you heard just now, or you want to hear it again? Okay, you. That's why. Okay, so who wants to describe the mood, the feeling, the environment, the space? How about you?
I hear like a bell in a church and a yeah yeah and like a birds sound yeah and like like a wind missing like I feel like it's calming yes.
So, what do you think about the weather? Is it sunny? Is it raining? Or is it, how's the weather? How you describe the weather to the sound as now you listen to?
It's sunny like
Sunny. Because of the birds.
yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So through sounds, you initiate your imagination, okay? You recreate the image. You start to become creative, okay? Try to connect the dots. You start to question things, okay? And when you listen to it, imagine that you're blind, okay? You can't see. So you start to think, how's the weather, okay? Is it rain? Is it sunny? Because of the birds, yes, might be sunny because the birds sounds very happy, right? And then there's a church bell. Maybe something's going on in the church. Maybe there's a wedding, right? And so on. So sound, you put yourself to try to decode the sound, okay? So I encourage you guys, try, go outside later on, sit somewhere and take a moment, close your eyes and listen. And ask yourself what you hear, okay? And ask yourself how you feel about it, okay? And if you want to go to musical side, listen to the birds singing, listen to the rhythm and so on. There's a lot of musical elements outside there. It's very rich, okay? So try to listen rather than too much relies on visual aspect, okay? So in the study of space and place, geographer Yi Fu Tuan offered an essential distinction. Space is abstract and open. So when I compose electroacoustic music, I like to give title to my piece. That is where it's like a literature. You write an essay, you must have a title, so that when you write, it comes back to the title, it reflects to the title. Okay, so for me, my work composition, title is very important. Okay, so it gives you objective of what you want to write. So you not write easily, you know what you're doing. Okay, so to me, the title is like a box. It's like a space, right? And within that space, you can move around. Okay, it's like a vase. Okay, you create a vase, but you can draw on the vase. You can create something, produce something artistic around that, but it's still in shape. Okay, it reflects the title back. Okay, so I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, so anthropologist Stephen Feld built upon a concept of acoustemology, the idea that we come to know the world not just by seeing it, but by listening to it. So in his work with the Kaluli people of Papua New Guinea, Feld revealed how sound, bird calls, voices in the forest, water flow, was central to their sense of territory and belonging. And of course, you can hear the echo, the sound, and the noise comes from actually from a TV. Actually, it's a football match, and people are shouting and something like that. So, but good close just now. So that's the how you. So sound is very interesting. It's like you playing around with it and you try to question things. So it's like blindfold you, okay, and it encourages you to question things, okay. So that's why I encourage you guys to listen things and try to ask questions. What is it? Why I heard about it just now? Okay. So more practice. Okay. Now next slide. So listening might seem passive, a universal act, but in reality, how we listen is deeply cultured. So you may be familiar with the subway line, so that's why you hear or you connect tram. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. So close. Yeah. So here in Thailand, maybe tram is not something that is familiar with. I believe you have tram here. No, long time ago. Yeah. So that's why culture. It depends on the background, how you know about sound. Okay, so anthropologist Jonathan Stern reminds us that listening is a socially conditioned act. Our ears are tuned, okay, not only biologically but culturally. A call to prayer may be background noise, okay, to one person, and a sacred moment to another. So the sound of silence may be calming in one culture, but uncomfortable in another. Okay, in the field, it's essential. In the soundscape field, it's essential to remember that people hear selectively. Some sounds rise to the surface because they are culturally loaded. Others are routinely dismissed. For example, a factory drone may be ignored by locals but feel oppressive to outsiders because they are used to it. They're tuned to it. Okay, they ignore it. Okay, they being assimilated with the noise. Okay, so a child voice may be celebrated in one context but silence in another. That's one of the example. All right. So remember that silence is not emptiness. Okay, it can signify reverence, fear, resistance, taboo, or control. So in composition context, in music, silence play a very powerful part in create emotion as well. Okay, so that's why when I write electroacoustic music, I think silence play very important roles to give like a break for the for the ears to rest for a while and get back to the music, right? Some I listen to electroacoustic music. I become one of the judge for the electroacoustic music competition. I have reviewed like 36 submission around the world, and it's very tiring. It keeps go on with the specialization, the surround sound, binaural, and so on. It's very tiring. Okay, so I think rest is important because music is like organic. It has a rhythmic motion that you need to be engaged somehow with our natural behavior. Okay, so we are human beings. We need rest. Okay, rest is important. So I think music we have also play roles in this kind of things. So for example, like in Japan, I went to Tokyo, Yokohama. They use music to control the behavior of the passengers. So when the train arrive, the music start to play faster and faster and faster. They are telling that the train are going to depart soon. So the people start to walk very fast. So it's a very interesting observation on how they use sound to shape behavior. Okay, so these are the things that I propose in Malaysia as well. You know, we have a tram, we have a monorail, and so on, LRT, and we don't use the power of sound to control how the passenger move and so on. So, but still, this being ignored by them because they don't really appreciate what is sounds and how sounds play a vital role in our daily life. Okay. Right. So next slide. So, sound and memory, sonic traces. So, so let's explore connection between sound and memory. So, how sound acts not only as a sensory input but as a deep culture archive. So, one of the most powerful ways to assess emotional and cultural depth in your fieldwork is to ask your simple question: what sound do you miss most from your childhood? So, this question opens up more than nostalgia. It unlocks stories of place, family, tradition, trauma, and change. It brings forth sounds that may no longer exist, right? For example, like the creak of a wooden floor in a childhood home, the ring of a bell from a local schools that now close, the chant of a grandmother during prayer. So, these sonic memories often act as a culture triggers. They are not always literal. Sometimes a remembered sound may never heard again, yet its emotional resonance continues to shape a personal sense of belonging or displacement. For example, in diasporic communities, people often say, I miss the sound of rain on zinc rooftop, or I miss the voices of early morning food hawkers. these are not just sound, they are effective maps of identity and memory. So that's why I asked you just now, what is the iconic sound of Thailand? Is it what is the three tires taxi? Tuk tuk? Yeah, it can be a iconic sound. It can be one of the Thailand iconic sound, the tuk tuk. Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, so listening to this story and when possible, recording or recreating these sounds becomes a way to archive not just what was, but what still matters. So, in Soundscape, don't just ask what people hear today, also ask what they remember hearing, and why it continues to echo within them. Right, next slide. So, so in the context of composition, so field recording is often thought of as a tool for documentation. So, these are more like a scientific part, documentation and do like analysis and so on. But on artistic side, we use Soundscape as inspiration to create our artistic expression. Okay, so one of the leading figures in this practice is Hildegard Westerkamp, who said that recording the soundscape is like photography. I still remember she told me that microphone is like a lens. You know, photography, you have lens. So microphone is like a lens where you zoom the sound. Okay, if I put here, you cannot hear it, but you can zoom it like this and it become closer and closer. So as a electroacoustic composer, sound designer, I invest a lot on microphones. Okay, so to me, microphone is very important. Don't you agree? Yeah. So I bring some of my microphone here. So this is a shotgun mic. All right. So this is to capture long-range sound. For example, if that person talking over there, I can point to him and I can hear him. All right. So it doesn't give any spatial information or stereo image information because it's mono, but you can process the sound and place the sound in your mix. So on. Now pass, you can see pass. Can pass around, but return back. Yeah, the next one is for spatial details, for stereo image. I have this match pair microphone, all right? So it's Octava match pair. You can change the head capsule. I have a different capsule here. So what this capsule does is that it captures sound in a different way of space. Okay, so I have few. Yeah, so you can see on the capsule there's like a label. There's a circle, there's a symbol of circle, and there's a like a heart shape. So actually this it's a polar pattern we call it. So it is the region where it's sensitive and it rejects the sound at background. So it's important that you understand how the lens or the microphone works. Yeah, pass, yeah, sure. Yeah. So whenever I travel, I will bring this with me. Okay? Right. So you have your microphone, okay, your transducer to pick up the sound. It's a lens. And the next thing is you need to have some kind of like a device to capture the sound, I mean to record it. Yeah. So I have this simple recorder. Yeah. This is a digital one, 32-bit float. So for those of you not familiar with 32-bit, are you familiar with 32-bit float? Do you know what is that? 32-bit float. Right. Basically 32-bit float, you can record as loud as possible the sound. It won't pop or distort and so on. Yeah. So this one. Yeah. So nowadays recorders are go with 32-bit float, so you don't have to adjust the volume. All right, so you can record thunder sound, explosion, all that kind of sound. So usually 32-bit float they use for sound measurement, for noise and so on. Yeah, so it's quite lightweight. Yeah, yeah, and easy to carry and so on. That's the one. Right. So before I move further on, I have this mic holder. So this is to hold the pair of mic just now. Okay. I forgot that this is a workshop as well, lecture workshop. So I have to show this. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. So you hold like this, and you put your mics left, right. So the distance between these two mics is as distance as your ears. Ah, okay. So you get the sense, okay, the logic behind it. Okay. So this is, we call it AB. Okay, the time of arrival, the sound arrive at different time. So it gives a special cue. You know the sounds come from there or there, because our brain interpret the sound, the time of arrival different. So it can tell you the exact sounds. Where is it? Okay. So sometimes I use XY position, mic position like this, the microphone like this, but depends on the sound that I want to capture. So if I want to capture a white stereo image, like an ambient sound, I'm using AB. But if I want to capture a lot of movement, like cars moving, people are walking around, I will use XY, because XY are more details. It capture very clear localization, the specialization. But how about if I want to capture both, the movement and also the ambient? I can use ABXY setup at the same time. Okay, so usually I have this one, I have another one, XY setup, and I run record at the same time. So just now the recorder have only 2 input. So usually I'm using HS6 Zoom, which has more inputs. So I use all these 4 mics and record it at the same time. So you can see it's a soft grip. Okay, so it's not noisy enough, because when you use a normal grip, when you do like this, the microphone can pick up the noise. That's the thing. So you have to consider the handling noise, we call it. Okay? Pass, feel. Yeah. Yes? Face? Well, usually long wave have a problematic phase issue. Okay, the shorter wave doesn't have much phase issue. Okay, so for localization, mostly are high frequency. Okay, it's much more clear compared to the long wave, because long wave are more like yeah. Okay, so not I'm not concerned about phase issue about this. Yeah, right. Okay, so next one is this one. All right. So this is another types of microphone that I always bring. This is how we call it? Ambisonic mic? No. Kind of like ambisonic. Right, so you see there's 4 microphones here. All right, so it captures 360 degrees. So this is for VR. All right, you can make it stereo, you can make it surround sound and so on, 5.1, 7.1, right? The best thing is inside here is that it can decode the sound into multiple format that you want. All right, okay. So it's very lightweight, yeah, but it's not the best one, but it works. Yeah. want to? Yeah. Okay. So I'll show you how I set up this one. Okay. So, any question about Soundscape? No. Right. Okay. Yes.
I did my soundscape as well in Kuala Lumpur
Okay.
because of my PhD project was in Kuala Lumpur, particularly in Little India. So I'm curious to know more about a sound ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
because of I found something like a power dynamic between Ashan, Namas sounds,
Yeah.
because Namas sounds it came from Arabic term.
Yes.
It means Ashan,
Yes.
it's listening, right? So when Ashan surrounded the city, I think something like had to be in silence.
Yes.
It's kind of the power dynamic. Particularly in Kuala Lumpur, this is a multicultural society, right? So another culture sounds that came from another like religions have to be in silence as well.
Mm.
This is my curiosity,
Yes.
just sharing with you.
It got to do with the assimilation of the culture. Okay. Where in Malaysia we live in multicultural ethnics, but there's like a hierarchy status there. Who is the dominant culture? So in Malaysia, majority is Malay, Muslim, so they are the dominant. So that's why they can put azan out. But in Singapore, I believe you can't put it very loud. Yeah. So it got to do with culture. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the dynamic. Yeah. Yeah.
Same to Thailand case as
yes.
well, because the majority here
Yes.
is the Buddhism,
Yes.
right? So when they do anything in the temples, they open louder and
Yes,
louder to invite so many people to join in the temple activity, something like that.
Yeah.
And back to your examples in the Catholic Church, sounds like bells. I just shares my experience. When I was young, I lived in a rental house nearby the Catholic Church, and every Sunday I heard the bell sounds. I never thought of religion. At that time, I thought of chicken fry, because they will serve the chicken fries for free in the Catholic Church in every Sunday.
I see.
So this came from when we interpret sounds, it came from our experience.
True.
It's not about right or wrong.
True.
It's not about, yeah.
Yeah. Sound, that's like I said, sound is natural. It's ambiguous. Okay. It depends on your background, how you being shaped to listen to tune into. Okay. Right. So, yeah. So I just want to share another one. One of my project. Just now I mentioned to introduce Soundscape in Malaysia. So it's still an ongoing project, the Unheard Soundscape. So basically, this is one of the project that I propose in Malaysia, where we can use Soundscape to monitor the health of the mangrove forest, okay? Because mangrove forest is very important. And the way that how we observe this is, I propose them is that we can observe this remotely, okay? By using one of the techniques, using this one, locusonus.org, sound map. It's an open mic project. Have you heard about it? No. So you should check this one out. It's a very big community. It's a live streaming of sound. You can use your mobile phone, download the apps, and you can do live streaming sound. Okay? But there's a special device that you can buy from their website, and you can put it at your backyard and let it stream 24 hours. So it's a live sound. But the best thing is this, it's an open source, and you can pull the live streaming into Pure Data or Max MSP and to manipulate and do soundscape, live soundscape. And you can manipulate around. So this is what I try to build a dedicated device that you can put it off grid over 24 hours, run streaming. Okay, so as you can see, it's a 3D printed parts. That's the hydrophone just now, and there's like a cage there. So the cage function is to reduce the turbulence of the current of the underwater. Okay, and that's the sphere. It represents the head. It's a binaural device actually. You can record immersively 360 because if you want to put like these 4 mics, live stream, there's too much data to be transmitted. Okay, so because you put it remotely, the transmission of the data is based on cellular network, Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G. Okay, so usually when you do remote recording, remote transmission, the signal's not so good, but you can do a point-to-point network, but it costs a lot of money and so on. Okay, so it's a solar power base, right? So I soldered my own microphone there. So it's quite cheap actually, the microphone, but it's a good quality. Do you know the brand LOM? The microphone LOM, L-O-M? Actually, it's based on this microphone. It is this small microphone actually, but they sell it expensively after they repackage it, rebrand it. Actually, it's a very cheap microphone actually. Okay. So these are the device. Okay, you can install it on the tripod, and you can put it on the tree. You can put it on the water, float it. Okay, put like a buoy, and just let it float. Okay, you can attach the hydrophone also. Right, so these are the sound stream, live sound stream that I captured. I put it in Pure Data, and I try to manipulate around, mix around, okay, and do live soundscape, electroacoustic music composition, okay. Right, so there's one website for this. I also do audio website API for this. We call it DAC. Hold on. Suspended because it's not active anymore. It's a website basically. It has a spectrogram. Okay, so spectrogram, you can see the sound visually. So what it does is that it pulls all the data. Live stream, you can click one by one, and you can see the sound. Okay, and it can be used for sound ecologists and also for artists. Okay, they can pull the data also into the Pure Data or Max MSP and to play around with the sound. So it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So the scientific community can be benefit, and also it can be benefit for the artistic community. So these are the website basically. Yeah, it's similar like Locus Sonus, but it's more, because Locus Sonus website, it doesn't have spectrogram. So what I did is that I put spectrogram with using the web audio API. And also there's like a recorder where you can record a few seconds of the tracks, and you can download it and keep it as your sonic souvenir of that recording of that soundscape. So that's my ongoing project. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Yes. Oh yes. So like I said just now, I did like kind of like a training where I interpret the sound of produced by animals, and I detect. I interpret the rhythm of birds call, the rhythm of the fish, glottal sound, and kind of stuff. So I use that gestures of that rhythmic elements to put it in a musical way. So this is part of the output of based on the interpretation of the soundscape. Okay. So the process is this one. So this is a mud skipper. So have you heard mud skipper before? This is sound of mud skipper. Can you make it volume higher? So it sounds like a chicken. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Yeah, yeah, but the male, big male. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. So that's the glottal sound of the mud skipper. So what I did is that I put the microphone just now, the hydrophone in the mud, so I leave it there. So that's the sound of the mud skipper, right? And this is the sound that I transcribe in the same spot, but different different biophonic sound. Yeah, that's the gesture, the angular gesture. Yeah. So this nature sound, it give inspiration for my compositional idea. It become a tools, like a small idea. Yeah. So this work, this idea, similar to one of the work by George Crumb, if you know, Vox Bellina. The title of the works, Vox Bellina, is a piece for cello, piano, and flute, I think. It's based on whale song, where whale singing, the gestures, the rhythm, the pitch, they try to imitate based with the acoustic instruments and play around with that, create a dialogue based on that. So this piece is based on that interpretation. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I think that's all. Yeah, question. Yeah. Okay. It depends on the title, like I said just now. Okay. Title is important. It gives you create mood. Okay. Because to me, sounds like you play harmony, chord, sad, happy, and so on. But for me, sound is like tension and release. These are the two things. Okay. That's why I said rest is important. The idea of tension and release in music it comes across when I saw this interview by this composer. I can't remember his name. Wait, what is his name? Forgot his name. It's a contemporary composer. He talked about tension and release. He had a discussion, like a forum with Aditi Quartet, play his piece. And he talked about sound is spatial. You can play around sound as a movement, okay, like a choreography, okay? And that choreograph of sound can create tension and release. Because sound is about motion, music is about motion, okay? You are moved forward to hear it. So it's like a roller coaster. Once you're up, you go down, you rest, and you go up. That's the momentum, okay? So tension and release is important. So I keep that in my mind, okay? So when I compose music, it depends on who's the audience, where I want to present my work. So most of the time, I compose my form structure first. So usually I go with a stropic form, like a pyramid, build up and then tension and then go down back. So sometimes I compose true form, true composition, where there's no structure at all. Everything is different from part to part, okay? But it depends on audience. Like I said, in Malaysia, they are not used to this kind of contemporary music. I like to repeat some parts. My techniques for Malaysian scene music, I like to compose based on cell gestures and repeat it back again, so that when people can remember the part, the gesture, they tend to like associate themselves. They can recognize it. So when they can recognize it, I heard that one before. Then they start to be part of the music. They start to be associated with the music. So that's why I think repetition is important. Depends on the audience. So that's why repetition is good. Nice. It's easy for people to follow along. Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, so don't forget to put rest in your music as well. I mean, I'm not sure whether you guys are music students or not, but you guys are media student, right? So you do some kind of like sound editing as well. Yeah, so rest is important as well. Okay, right. So I think that's all for today. I conclude. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.